Shalom, shalom. This is a book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and 34. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of judgment. And to that, we like to say, Kal Halayim, La Allah Yanabu Yehovah, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Kakudash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of greatness, soon who well. Shalom to the brothers that pushing us roots and streets and sincerity. Share the four corners of the earth, and shalom unto the Israelites who have been scattered among heathen nations, and shalom unto the Akwat, which is the sisters who is listening and learning. Most importantly, obeying your husband. There's a brother Karatazar from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp out of Trinidad and Tobago. Right, so as you can see, this video is titled, very soon, all this BS will end. And maybe your end. To his women, listen up, right? I repeat, this video is not going to be long, all right? Straight to the point. So let's get into the video.
Close interaction with Chris Brown, but she now plans to sue her husband and kicked out of her home after spending more than $20,000 and having a close interaction with Chris Brown. But she now plans to sue her husband and attend another one of the singer's concerts. Chris Brown performed closely behind the woman while she smiled and enjoyed the moment. Her husband later placed her belongings outside and told her to leave their home. The woman used more than $20,000 from the couple's shared savings to pay for the experience. In her response, she made it clear that she did not regret attending the concert. She described the interaction as one of the best moments of her life and said she would happily experience it again. Even several days later, she said she was still excited about what happened. However, the woman previously said her husband had bought the concert tickets as a Mother's Day gift. At the time, she also claimed he was not upset about her interaction with Chris Brown. She now says his sudden change in attitude made her angry. She believes Chris Brown treated her more gently than her husband did. She plans to divorce him, sue him, divide their property, and attend Chris Brown's next concert. She also joked that she may give the singer a chance to pursue her. What do you think?
As you could basically see, as of, this was something that was already intended, right? The intentions that this was, it was already premeditated, right? Whether if he like it or not. She don't give a fuck. She don't care. All right. First of all, a woman who respects her husband, who honor her husband, right? As her, basically, yes, as her Lord, right? Because the hierarchy, the rulership, it is, right, from Yahweh, then Yahweh Shai, the husband, the woman, and then the child, right? And who is above the woman? The husband, the man, right? And, once you please in your husband, you also please Yahweh Ba'ashem Yoshai, right? And this is what, you men have to understand as well, right? So, but as in society with these two kids, they are basically lost within the world, don't know what's really going on in terms biblically and stuff like this, right? Scripture also mentioned, roughly paraphrasing, that Yahweh, he's the same today, yesterday, and forever, right? But yet still, once a man marries a woman, that woman becomes his possession. And also especially a man who is serving Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai, right? He's not a man also to be fucked with, right? Because Yahweh Shai could deal with you in so many different ways. All right. But I mean, that don't say, that because of that, the husband after to mistreat you, based in a type of way, and I mean, I mean, it's still, you're seeing, especially, if you're seeing your wife, she's serving your Bashim Shai, she obeyed, she obeys you, right? Right? She doing what she's supposed to do, right? You know, yeah, right. You know, thing and yeah, misuse her and whatnot, and she's not a two-third, she's of your wife, and she is, you know, being that woman of Proverb 31, trying to be, that woman of Proverb 31, moving from her westernized ways and all these things, right? But that is not the point here. I basically just brought out that, just stating, um, that you don't have um, to misuse and abuse, you know what I mean? Right? This is more just a general speaking terms, right? Because in everything there's balance. In, in everything there's balance, And you know, she, doing this is basically she is disrespecting her husband in a high way, right? So there you go. You'll, you'll have probably a trust fund, right? Probably, thinking we have a two-third man within the world, thinking, yeah, let me go in the bank, I'll take out the 20, and let you enjoy yourself. But he probably not thinking what the real intentions are in terms of what she is going to do. He thinking, yeah, he can't say she gotta take out some photos with Chris Brown or whatever, and stuff like that. And so he not thinking to that level. But when he saw what he saw, maybe on live, this considers be live as well on certain websites, right? He probably saw this thing live, or probably saw his partners or family send him these videos in terms of what actually taking place. Come on. That's the first scripture that I read, right? Proverbs 6:34. For jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. And this is why I state on top, right? Very soon all this BS will end, right? Maybe your end, because your end could end up in getting delete, right? Because when a man in rage of jealousy, right? Remember that is your possession. So when a man is in rage of jealousy, we think will happen. He could give a damn about these laws and just do as he please. You understand? You understand? It have strong spirits of delusion out there. While he is in that jealousy, while he's in the rage of jealousy. You understand? So I think it even have some men do what they do, and they also delete them own selves. Right? Don't get it twisted out here, man. It's not just about physical, it's also spiritual as well. Right? But very soon all this being will end. And the reason why I said that is because, in society, Western culture, they put the woman up on a very high pedestal. You understand? So they think, yo, I can do the ass I want. I have the power. We have the law that defends us, right? And you can hear, based on what she said, right? She will happily do it again. So you hearing that she will happily do it again. She have no um she have no intentions. She have no intentions of her husband. None or whatsoever. Right? Also goes on to say that she will give Chris Brown, she will give uh Chris a chance. Yo, Chris don't need you. Chris have many women at his leisure, at his fingertips. You think by giving him a chance is what he gonna look at you what special? No, he's not. He's not. Right? He might maybe well just have sex with you just for having sex with you sake and then just let you go. You understand? And that is how some of you two women, you know, just think, right? Because you're thinking that hey, I am on a high pedestal, I have the Lord to back me up. Right? You think what? You think vagina is your power. A man who is fully woke, who is fully woke to the spiritual things. Also, a man who is also who also in the world that have money, right? Because money is his power. A man in the world who have money, yo, your vagina is not power to him, right? You cannot manipulate him with a vagina, right? You cannot, right? As the scripture also mentioned, money is a defense and wisdom is a defense. All right? Understand that. All right? Because hey, things could have take a different turn, you know. Things could have take a different turn with this whole situation. All right. You know, the fact that have me, rolling when I was looking at this video, she to give Chris Brown a chance. Please. This man a woman at his fingertips. He a woman who he could fly out, in the morning, he could hit up a woman, hey, you wanna come at my crib? I could fly out, I could hire a jet, send the jet to pick you up, bring you here. You know what I mean? This is how these men do it because why? Because money is their defense. Money is their defense, right? But on the other hand, who was is her husband? Well, yeah, her husband, right? Um, never think, you know, so deep in terms of what was her intentions, right? But she get caught. As I say, you get caught in the mix. You get caught in the sauce. But for Chris Brown, all of this is just for a show. It's just for a show. And that is what it is, and that is all to it. All right. This is a book of First Timothy 5:6. It said, "But she that liveth in pleasure is dead while she liveth." Right? And also goes back to also say too, right? Um, um, let me see quick. even in the book of Sirach 25, right? You all could read that story too in Sirach 25, right? This is when the uh, uh, um when you know a concubine, a man concubine, I think he was a priest. Yeah, he was a priest, and his wife was ravished by men, on from night until morning, and he um basically cut her into 12 pieces. All right, the rage of jealousy, right? Because that is the man possession. You understand? So you all can take a read in that story. It's hey, um, let me just leave you with a scripture. There's a book of Sirach 25 and 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Right? Because into some situations, right? Women will basically, do things to as we just say, in Trinidad, to basically put up a man, put up a man to get deleted, right? It cause a man to do these things, right? To even to delete her and to delete himself, right? And even to delete the man that you may be having an affair with. You understand? So it goes all wrong. All right. But again, this is the two-third woman of today, right? And very soon it's coming, all this shit is coming to an end. All this shit is coming to an end. But the all eyes will only open when shit hit the fan. When your system is crumbling, Babylon is already falling. This world, as we know it, is falling. Right? Even before that, you continue in your wicked ways, this could be a very end. So, hey, hope this video was edifying. And so that's all I just say, Kal Halayim, La Allah, Nawa Yahweh, Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakodash, double honors unto the apostles and elders, a great mystery who dwell. Shalom unto brothers, Shalom unto the Akwat, there's brother Kratazah. Until next time, Shalom.